Hello, this is Lisa Peck, and this is a movie analysis for Morehead State University's NURB 461 Leadership and Management class. The movie that I chose to analyze is entitled The Doctor, and it is based on a book called A Taste of My Own Medicine by Ed Rosenbaum, who is a physician. There's three main characters in this movie. The first one is the surgeon, which is Jack McKee, who's played by William Hurt. His wife Anne, who is played by Christine Lathti, and June, which is a patient that he meets during his journey through this movie, and she is played by Elizabeth Perkins. The movie starts off as a surgeon. Jack McKee is trying to repair a transected aorta on a patient that tried to commit suicide. They're making jokes, they're laughing, they have music playing in the OR suite. Everybody's partaking in this except for one scrub tech whose name is Nancy, and she is an older African American lady, and Dr. McKee always keeps telling her, Nancy, you're going to sing to me one day, because his closing song is, which kind of just keeps portraying his character of Jimmy Buffett's of Let's Get Drunk and Screw, and he always wants Nancy to sing the closing song with him, and she never does. So while they're trying to repair this aorta and stuff, and they get it successfully done, everybody tells Dr. McKee what great job that he's done and how awesome that he is. He is summoned to an additional OR room that is from a Dr. Bloomfield, who they say is a rabbi. They make fun of him and amuse themselves with jokes from him and stuff, but he's an ENT guy. He's really nice to his patients, and really you can tell that he really cares about him. So Dr. McKee goes over to consult on his patient for him. So anyhow, it kind of leaves that scene. He kind of makes a few jokes with that patient, and Dr. Bloomfield just kind of pushes him aside or whatever, and just says that Dr. McKee's a great doctor, but he just likes to make jokes. So it leaves that scene to Dr. McKee going through the hospital with his interns, and he's telling his interns that they do not have time to care about their patients. It's unnatural to care about their patients. A surgeon's job is to get in, fix it, and get out. That there isn't time to worry about the patient's family or anything about the family or anything about the patient. Their job is to get in, fix it, and get out. And you can kind of see that because he goes in his office visit, and there's a lady that's sitting there, come back for her post-op visit from open heart surgery, and he just walks in, doesn't say anything, hi, who are you, doesn't know her name, just says, sorry to keep you waiting, it's been a busy day. He ungowns her, which just leaves her naked there on the bed, and she tells him that her husband's a good man, but he's worried and wants to know, is this scar always going to be there? And he just kind of laughs and said, tell him that you're a playboy, staples included. And so it makes the lady feel very bad. He has an issue. He's been having this, Dr. McKee's been having this nagging cough. Doesn't know what the deal is. Just kind of been putting it off because he knows everything. But he goes to an older doctor who's been a family friend forever. He looks at him and stuff. He just gives him a prescription for antibiotic and sends him on his way. Well, one night after a dinner party, him and his wife, he starts coughing, and he starts coughing up blood. So he goes and is asking around who's the best ENT. And a lot of them are saying Dr. Bloomfield, which is the rabbi that he always made fun of. And he's like, no, I'm not going there. All he does is take out tonsils. So they see this other lady whose name is Dr. Abbott, and she's a very young, pretty physician. Well, so he goes and makes an appointment with her, gets in to see her. Whenever he goes in, she comes straight through the door, and she goes, sorry to keep you waiting. It's been a busy day. Sort of the same way that he treats his patients. Well, he doesn't like it, and he says, well, I'm Jack McKee, and she was like, yeah, I know, have a seat. So anyhow, he's kind of taken back from this. She doesn't tell him anything's going on. Finally, she just tells him, hey, there's a tumor on your larynx, and I'm not for sure. We're going to use some radiation. And he was just like, hey, whoa, hang on here. Tell me some more. And she was like, you know what it is. So, we'll see you for radiation tomorrow. And he's like, I have open heart surgery. I can't do that. And she was like, well, I've done, this is very important that we have this done. So anyhow, he agrees to the radiation. So he goes down to the radiation the next day, and he has to fill out paperwork. Well, he gets very upset at the lady at the front desk because he doesn't want to fill out paperwork. Why should he fill out paperwork? He's already filled out paperwork at another desk, he tells them. Why can't they just get that? But the lady just informs him that they have to. And he's like, I don't know, I don't want to pull rank here, but do you know who I am? I've been on staff here. And she goes, I know exactly who you are, but you still have to fill out paperwork. So the radiologist comes out and gets him and talks to him about what they're going to do. So they're going to do all these radiation. They fit him for a mask. He doesn't like going through all the procedures. They don't really explain anything. He wants a jacket, the lead jacket to cover him, and they said, sorry, radiation's only going to touch your neck. You don't need a lead jacket to protect anything else on your body. So he gets to see all this. While going through his treatments, he has to do this for 6 weeks, 15 minutes a day. While doing this, he meets a young lady by the name of June who has a stage 4 brain tumor. And he lies to her the first time because she's talking about how the medical field didn't catch it for like 6 months. She kept having headaches. She had 2 or 3 CT scans, but because an MRI cost $1,000, they wouldn't do it because evidently she didn't have insurance or whatever, so they wouldn't do it. So he lies to her in one of their meetings and informs her that, oh yeah, his dad had a patient like that, had a stage 4 tumor, and they now have grandchildren now. So it gives her a little bit of hope. Well, a couple of days she comes back later and she knows that he's lied to her, that she's dying and everything else. So she gets him to make a promise to never lie to his patients again. And they kind of form a relationship and a bond. And that kind of goes through them talking about death and talking about how patients are treated. She's always wanted to see an Indian ritual dance, and he actually sets it up with his secretary to take her off to Nevada. They fly out to Nevada and they rent a car and they're going, and she's like, whoa, this is all going too fast, I don't even care about the Indian. So they end up getting out in the middle of the desert. They dance, they live life, they know they're both going to die. He calls home, tells his wife that he's in the middle of a desert here with his friend June, who's a patient, and his wife gets all upset because he doesn't let her in on any of this. She's not allowed to go to radiation with him. She's not allowed to do anything with him. And him and his wife do have a son together. His name is Nicky, and Nicky really doesn't even know his dad. Whenever Dr. McKee was trying to tell Nicky that they found a lesion and stuff, Nicky's like, I've got to go ride my bike, sorry, because he's just not close to his dad. He's never let them in. So anyhow, him and June take this trip, and he comes to realize that, life is not all about being mean and being the best at what you're doing. It's about caring and treating people the way that they need to be treated. So they come back from Nevada and stuff. June ends up getting sick, and the radiation is not working on his tumor, so they've got to go in to take out the tumor, and they're not for sure if they can even save his vocal cords. So he goes to Dr. Abbott. She wants to do surgery the next day. He goes to Dr. Abbott to get his chart. He's having to wait in line. He's done waited for 45 minutes or whatever, and he wants to talk to her, so he just busts us through the door. They get in a confrontational argument, and he just tells her that he wants his chart, that she doesn't treat patients the way that they need to be treated, that they are individuals, and that they need some respect, and she just throws his chart at him and tells him to get on out. So where he ends up at is to Dr. Bloomfield, which was the rabbi that he used to make fun of, and he goes to him after his surgery, and he's in the locker room, and he's talking to him and asked him, would he do it? Would he do this surgery? And he said, sure. He said, I have tomorrow off. He said, I'll come in. And so the guy was coming in on his day off to do surgery on his fellow co-worker, just out of the goodness of his heart. And so Dr. McKee tells him that, lots of times he's made fun of him and stuff, and he really is sorry for all that. And that Dr. Bloomfield tells him that I've always wanted to slit your throat, and now I have the chance. So anyhow, they have a little joke. Anyhow, he ends up taking out the tumor. He wasn't for sure if he saved it off of the vocal cords, but it was a clean cut, no further cancer. June comes in. She ends up dying. She ends up dying the day before Dr. McKee's surgery. So he goes into surgery. They're starting to do the surgery and stuff. And Nancy is his scrub tech, the older African-American lady. And so before they put him out with anesthetic and stuff, they start playing the Jimmy Buffett song, and Nancy sings for him. So it makes him smile that she finally sang for him and stuff. So after surgery and stuff, he's unable to talk. He has to blow a whistle and stuff. And him and his wife end up working things out, and they know that they do need each other. Whenever he goes back, he does get to eventually where he can talk. He does go back to work, and he's doing his rounds with his interns, and he takes them down to this bottom, it looks like an outpatient surgery center, and tells them all that they all have to get rid of their clothes and put on these gowns, and for the next 72 hours that they are going to be patients. And they are going to have enemas, they're going to have catheters, they're going to have everything that they are going to get ready to prescribe for their patients, so that they will know how it feels to have to go through all that without just writing orders and not caring. So that's basically how the movie ends, and it just shows that on the other side of, and it makes us take a real good look at how that we do treat our patients, that sometimes we don't realize unless we've actually had it done to ourselves, of what it feels like. We don't know how it feels like when they're pushing you down the bed, and the two nurses or techs or whatever are talking about their summer vacation or whatever. They're not even realizing that that's a patient on the bed. You should be addressing them and their concerns, not really what you did or what you ate for supper the last night. So I found this to be a very good movie, and it was an eye-opening movie, because sometimes I do think that we do, as medical professionals, don't actually look at the patient like how we should. So it was a real eye-opener, and it just makes you more observant of how we treat our patients. So I do recommend this movie for every medical professional, just to give you a look on the other side. Thank you.